Alright, what's going on, y'all? I know y'all kind of noticed, like, a little change. Yeah, I just went to the barber shop, just got a fresh cut or whatever. My barber, he hooked me up as always. And, yeah. So I'm back to, do, um, my second half of George's Logic. And this time I will be breaking down the Chael Sonnen Stann fight. A fight that everybody's looking forward to. A fight that could be potentially fight of the night if Melvin Gillard and Joe Lozon don't steal the show. But I think this analyzation of this fight will be much more simpler than to the Kenny Florian Jose Aldo fight. And this is basically, a styles clash, so to speak. You've got a good striker in Stann and a world-class grappler in Chael Sonnen, of course. So basically, I'm not going to break down these two men's skill set. I'm just going to basically break down in this particular fight what each man needs to look out for. Okay, so let's start off with Chael Sonnen. Now we know that Chael Sonnen is an extremely physically tough guy. He can take punishment on top of punishment on top of punishment. His pain tolerance is at a skyrocket level. We've seen Chael in some of the worst positions in fights, and he's been able to just fight with the pain and use that mental toughness of his and succeed. And if there was any moment in time where he would have to really put that to use, it's going to be for this fight, because Stann is going to bring it. He's going to come straight at Sonnen with looking to let his hands go early. He's going to use leg kicks. He's going to try and back Sonnen up against the fence. He's going to try to clinch with him, use that body weight and size, try to wear Sonnen down. And, especially with, the long hiatus from the octagon, he's going to want to look to exploit that as well. So Chael is really going to, just have to duck and dodge a lot in this fight, and just avoid that massive power of Stann, because I guarantee you guys, I'm a Chael Sonnen fan, but at the same time, Stann is for real. I mean, if this guy, gets one good angle on Sonnen and he lands like the perfect punch on the jaw, Chael Sonnen will be knocked down, if not out. And I know that Chael's been hit hard a lot in his career, but I think Stann is right. I don't think Chael has ever met a guy with the punching power of Stann. So, Chael's going to really, have to outsmart Stann, because Stann is going to come straight at him, and he's going to look to let his hands go early. And if he has Chael hurt, he's going to jump right on Chael until Chael falls down and the referee stops the fight. So basically, Stann is going to want to look to, basically use the combinations and the knees and the kicks and try and knock Chael out. I mean, that is the main objective for Stann in this fight, is knockout it. It's never been done before. Nate Marquardt didn't do it. Nobody has, I don't think, ever knocked out Chael Sonnen before. That's just a huge testament to his toughness, not only physically but mentally as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens if Chael does get caught. And he might, I'm not claiming anything. I'm not saying I want Chael to get caught, but Stann is a relentless fighter, you all. And he doesn't stop until he completes what he set out to do. So I think we might see Chael get clipped a little bit here in this fight. Maybe even see him get clipped cleanly. But the main thing to look for is how will Chael react when he does get hit. Now, we all know Chael doesn't like to get hit, but he's done a good job so far in his past few fights of not getting hit. So it'll be interesting to see how he adapts to, taking a hit clean on the chin, But like I said, at the same time, he's very hard to knock out because, he's just got that physical toughness about him. He has a high tolerance for pain, and he's so strong-minded, that he just has the will to just fight through the pain, and that's I think is one of the reasons that has led him to where he is now in his career. So basically, for Brian Stann, he's going to want to look to use the well-versed striking, put him up against the fence, try to do damage there, and basically try to get Chael Sonnen tired to the point where he just unloads on him until he finally drops him. And it could happen. It's a very, very big possibility. Like I said before when I saw this fight marqueed on MMA Junkie, I got nervous. I'm still nervous now just thinking about it because, this could be Brian Stann's coming out party. I mean, I'm not doubting Chael either, but I'm just saying, like, you heard Chael himself. I mean, he even said that Brian Stann is, is a deadly competitor because he is, The last 3 fights he's had, he's finished them all in a row. Like, he submitted Mike Massenzio, he knocked out George Santiago, and he knocked out Chris Lieben. And Chris Lieben, we talk about Chael Sonnen's toughness. Chris Lieben probably might be twice as tough as Chael Sonnen. Can take, a large amount, of punishment. I mean, you see what happened in the Terry Martin fight. You saw what happened in the Akiyama fight. You even saw it in this recent fight with Vanderlei Silva. Vanderlei hit him, with a couple of uppercuts and a couple of knees. Chris Lieben took it, came back, and uppercutted him to a TKO. So, if Brian Stann is the second man only in UFC history, besides, of course, the UFC middleweight champion Anderson Silva, to knock out Chris Lieben, that says something about Brian Stann, and that says that this guy is definitely somebody to not overlook. And I'm definitely not looking over him. Okay, so with that being said, let's move over to Chael Sonnen. Now, we all know Chael's MO every fight. Relentless pressure, powerful takedowns, strong mount, ground and pound. That's it. Now, with that being said, I would also like to see Chael, reveal some new skills, whether it be new skills standing up or new skills on the mat. And from looking at his open workout yesterday, I saw Chael, practicing some spinning back kicks and some spinning back fist and a couple other new things. I saw him practicing some knees, and it seems like he's still improving on his boxing, which is very underrated, by the way. I don't think people, give Chael Sonnen a lot of credit for his boxing. It's very good boxing. I mean, whether you want to accept it or not, y'all, he outstruck Anderson Silva, the middleweight champion, and Anderson Silva is probably, the most lethal striker in the UFC, and Chael Sonnen outstruck him 200 plus times in that fight. So, I'm just saying, he's got very underrated striking, does Chael Sonnen. But for the most part, I mean, I hope we see those new skills that Chael has been working on, and as far as doing with, as far as like using what's got him to where he is now, I wouldn't suggest to go away from that. I mean, he could still use the wrestling because, that is his, that's his forte. That's how he wins his fights. Powerful wrestling, dominant mount position and just relentless ground and pound. You know, I think what he might need to do, even though he's not really accustomed of it, is I think Chael might be a little bit more cautious this time around. Because like I said, BrewandStann has got power in, you know, his hands, his feet, and his knees. So if Chael tries to, you know, just shoot in on Brian from the get-go, he could be eating a knee on the way in. So I think what Chael needs to do, I think he needs to, you know, stand up with Brian a little bit, you know, try to get on the inside and, you know, use his jab. He has a very good jab and combinations. And maybe he could use, you know, maybe we might see that spinning back kick. We might even see some leg kicks from Sonnen as well. But, you know, yeah, just try and, you know, to at least try and outstrike BrewandStann, which I know is going to be a very hard task for Sonnen to do. But, yeah, just you know, constant pressure as always. You know, back him up against the fence, and when he gets him there, you know, double leg takedown, get on top of BrewandStann and test that defensive wrestling. I mean, we know that BrewandStann has been working on his wrestling a lot over the past couple of months. I mean, I follow BrewandStann on Twitter, so you know he has been working on his wrestling a lot. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if Chael Sonnen does take him down. If BrewandStann will use that wrestling defense. It'll be interesting to see if Chael Sonnen gets his takedown stuffed. That's one thing that really sticks out in my mind. How will Chael Sonnen react, or what plan will Chael Sonnen go to if he does get his takedown stuffed? Because BrewandStann does have pretty good takedown defense, as we've seen in his last couple of fights. So it's a possibility that BrewandStann could stuff Chael Sonnen's takedowns. So it'll be interesting to see how Chael sets up those takedowns without him getting stuffed. Because if Chael gets his takedown stuffed, that could change the course of the fight. But you know, Chael just needs to use that relentless pressure that he has, you know, nonstop, stay in his face, you know, use his jab, you know, use the combinations, use some leg kicks if he can. Like I said, back him up against the fence early if he can, and you know, secure that double leg takedown. And once he gets down there, you know, do what Chael Sonnen does, you know, get the mount position and don't let up. If he can do that, I think we might see a vintage Chael Sonnen win. But at the same time, you know, it'll also be interesting to see how Chael has been working on his submission defense, because we know that has been his downfall a lot in his career, is the triangle choke. I mean, we've seen it from Forrest Griffin, we've seen it from Damian Maia, we've seen it from Anderson Silva. So it'll be interesting to see if Chael Sonnen has worked on that submission defense, especially for the triangle choke, because BrewandStann does have a good triangle choke, as demonstrated in the Macenzio fight. So we'll see how that goes. You know, if Chael Sonnen can defend that triangle choke, then I think he's got it. You know, because I know BrewandStann's going to look to go for it, especially if he's on his back. So, you know. But it'll also be interesting to see if, you know, how Chael Sonnen reacts if he gets on his back. Because, you know, maybe BrewandStann might surprise us and take him down. You know, so it'll be interesting to see how Chael is off of his back. I mean, you know, if I know Chael how I know him, you know, he'll probably be, you know, quick enough to get back to his feet and, you know, continue to try and take BrewandStann down. But overall, I think, you know, what this is going to come down to is, you know, who can withstand whose strength. So if Chael can avoid getting hit as less and, you know, take BrewandStann down and keep the pressure on and get him in a secure position and mount where he cannot get back up to his feet, then Chael's got it. If BrewandStann can stuff Chael Sonnen's takedowns and keep the fight standing and, you know, start bringing the pressure towards Chael, he can knock out Chael. But all in all, it's going to be a good fight. Could be fight of the night. You guys enjoy it. I know I am. That's the end of this video. Peace.